Hello everyone, Weather Jamaica here. Welcome to this updated video on the weather across Jamaica and the rest of the Caribbean. It is Thursday evening, January 30, 2025. Now before we jump into it, please ensure that you guys like the video. I'd really appreciate it if you guys get this video up to 100 likes. If you don't know by now, that's how the YouTube algorithm works. We all like the video and then the YouTube algorithm pushes the video out to more persons who are in the path of these tropical systems so that we can keep everyone safe, especially during the peak months of Atlantic hurricane season. That's August through to October. Share this video with your friends, your co-workers, your relatives, and even your church brethren, and subscribe if you haven't yet done so. Please ensure that you guys utilize the progress bar that's located at the bottom of the video, as well as the timestamps that are located not only in the comment section but the video description, so that you can skip to the points in the video that you want to see the most in order to save time, because we know that the videos over here at Weather Jamaica can be very long. Leave a comment down below letting me know what the weather has been like in your area recently. Also, feel free to ask any weather related question that you might have about the future of the weather in your specific area. Alright, so as usual, we're going to be looking at what the next 7 days have in store for us according to the latest Euro model that came out at 3:30 p.m. today, as well as the latest GFS model that came out at 6 p.m. So keep your eyes focused right here on the timestamp as we go to the next 168 hours. That's the next 7 days. Keep your eyes also focused on Jamaica right here as we look for all of what we see on the key on the right. The reds, the oranges, the yellows, and the greens represents inches of rainfall. Alright, so we can see that as we head into Friday, we definitely are going to be getting on an increase in rainfall, especially across some northern and eastern parishes for sure. During the afternoon, some of this activity will spill into sections of some central and western parishes. Then on Saturday, not seeing much activity for the morning, but look at this. Maybe some grains that represent some isolated showers as we head throughout the day, and then during the afternoon, across sections of some central and western parishes for sure. On Saturday, very interesting. Sunday, not seeing much for the morning, not seeing much for the afternoon either. For Monday, however, we see some moisture to the south of us, to the southeast of us. Maybe some isolated showers across sections of the island by the end of the day on Monday. Tuesday, maybe some isolated showers across northeastern parishes. Then spilling towards sections of some southern and western parishes during Tuesday afternoon. Wednesday, some rainfall across northern and eastern parishes for the morning hours. Afternoon looks to be widespread across sections of some eastern, central, and western parishes. Very interesting forecast for sure. But we're going to be stopping it right here at the end of the 168 hours. So this is valid for Thursday, February 6, 2025. And we can see some rainfall across eastern Jamaica, maybe northeastern Jamaica. We also see some moisture across Belize, portions of Central America. Some rainfall to the north of the ABC Islands, to the south of the Dominican Republic and Puerto Rico. Overall, a very interesting forecast. Either way, let us see what the GFS is showing. Let's see if we have some agreement on what the models are showing. Heading into Friday, we definitely see that rainfall that's going to be plaguing portions of northern and eastern parishes during the morning, then during the afternoons, affecting sections of some central and western parishes, but more so northern and western parishes. Heading into Saturday, we also see that moisture across sections of eastern Jamaica for sure, maybe even affecting sections of central and western Jamaica by Saturday afternoon. Let's see how that actually goes. Sunday, not seeing much activity, just like what the Euro was showing. Maybe some isolated afternoon showers across the west. Tuesday, some rainfall across northeastern parishes in the morning. Maybe a section of southern and western parishes during the afternoon. Wednesday, northeastern parishes in the morning. Southwestern parishes in the afternoon. Thursday, northeastern parishes in the morning. Central and western parishes during the afternoon. And we're stopping it right there. And we can clearly see that we have some differences. The Euro and the GFS are both showing maybe some rainfall to the north and to the east of the island by Thursday, February 6th. We can also see some moisture, just like what the Euro was showing, across sections of Central America, Eastern Honduras, Nicaragua, Costa Rica, Panama right there. We also see that moisture to the south of the Dominican Republic and Puerto Rico, affecting sections of the Dominican Republic and the Eastern Puerto Rico, as well as sections of the Leeward Islands. We'll see how that goes. Either way, in terms of the accumulated precipitation forecast. This map here from the Euro and this map here from the GFS are both showing all the rainfall that's expected from now up until Thursday, February 6th. And it seems like from now all the way up until Bob Marley's birthday, it's going to be very wet, especially where we have the reds into the burgundies that we can see from the key on the right that represents 1 to 2 inches of rainfall. The purples into the pinks that represents 3 to 5 inches of rainfall. And we see most of that across sections of northern South America, including French Guiana, Suriname, Guyana, southern and western Venezuela, Colombia, Panama, Costa Rica, eastern Nicaragua, eastern Honduras, portion of Belize, and Guatemala right there. That's where the most rainfall is expected. And we can also see an increase in rainfall anywhere from Guadeloupe, southward Dominica, Martinique, St. Lucia, section of eastern Puerto Rico, section of the Dominican Republic, sections of eastern or northeastern Jamaica, as well as eastern Cuba. And if we take a look at the GFS, we can see that both maps are showing something similar in the very same spot. So especially where we have those dark reds into purples and pinks, that's where we're going to be receiving the most rainfall. So some isolated flash flooding could definitely take place across sections of Central America as well as northern portions of South America. And if we take a closer look at Jamaica regarding the 7-day total accumulated precipitation, we can see that the most in the way of rainfall should still be plaguing portions of northeastern Jamaica, anywhere from St. Ann eastward, referring to St. Mary, Portland, spilling into sections of eastern St. Thomas for sure. And we can clearly see that the most rainfall should be where we have those yellows. The Euro going all the way up to 53 millimeters of rainfall, the GFS going all the way up to 45 millimeters of rainfall. We'll see exactly what unfolds as time goes on, and whatever happens, I'll definitely be here to keep you posted on our other social media platforms. So get ready for that rainfall if you live in those areas across northeastern Jamaica. And we can also see the other areas across the island shaded in blue. So rainfall is definitely expected across sections of the rest of the country. We see the blues represent anywhere from 1 millimeter all the way up to 15 millimeters as well. Taking a look at the surface map of the Atlantic for this evening, we can see that we have broken orange lines right here to the east of Florida associated with a trough. Another trough right here to the east of that trough that was induced by that cold front right here, as represented by the blue spike line. To the east of that cold front we have another cold front, and attached to that is another trough that was induced, and it stretches all the way down into portion of the Leeward Islands. And to the southeast of that trough we have another trough to the east of the Caribbean. And as usual, we have a ridge of high pressure up here to the far northwest of Africa that we know is responsible for sending all of the easterly trade winds across the main development region into the Caribbean. And if we take a look at the visible satellite images of the Atlantic before the sun went down, we can definitely make out all of these entities. Well, can't really make out the trough that's to the east of Florida, but we can definitely make out the frontal system and the trough that's attached to it to the east of there. We can also make out the other frontal system right here that extends a trough all the way down into portion of the Leeward Islands. And we can make out, well, I can't really make out the trough that's somewhere to the southeast of the other trough, but we can definitely see the low level flow of the low to mid level clouds pushing from east to west, especially across the southwestern and western Caribbean, all courtesy of the ridge of high pressure to the north that's sending everything to that direction. We'll be talking more about the rest of the Caribbean weather later on. Let us focus our attention on the prediction that was made in yesterday's video about the weather across Jamaica for today, Thursday, January 30, 2025. It was stated that rain was in the forecast for parts of some northern and eastern parishes in Jamaica on Thursday morning, also affecting sections of some central and western parishes during Thursday afternoon. And in northern parishes, we're talking about those parishes like Hanover, St. James, Trelawney, St. Ann, St. Mary, Portland. Southern parishes, and we're talking about Westmoreland, St. Elizabeth, Manchester, Clarendon, St. Catherine, Kingston, St. Andrew, and St. Thomas. While eastern parishes, and we're referring to those parishes in the county of Surrey, like Portland, St. Thomas, Kingston, St. Andrew. Central parishes, and we're talking about those parishes in the county of Middlesex, like St. Ann, St. Mary, Manchester, Clarendon, St. Catherine. While western parishes, and we're talking about those parishes in the county of Cornwall, like Hanover, St. James, Trelawney, Westmoreland, and St. Elizabeth. And what ended up happening? As early as 7:55 a.m., the visible satellite image was posted right here on our Twitter page. And it wasn't only posted on our Twitter page at Weather Jamaica, but also on our Instagram page at weather.jamaica, on our TikTok page at Weather Jamaica, and on our Facebook page at Weather Jamaica 876. So if you have one of those social media platforms, please ensure that you follow us there as we make posts throughout the day that you can't afford to miss. So we can definitely see what was posted this morning. Some clouds bring some overcast skies and some isolated showers across sections of the northeast, anywhere from Trelawney eastward, St. Anne, St. Mary, Portland eastern, St. Thomas. These have been the areas that have been predicted to receive cloud cover if not rainfall, and that was definitely what took place this morning for sure. Then during the afternoon, the visible satellite images were posted at around 4:06 p.m. and they highlighted that we're definitely getting on some amount of cloud cover across not only sections of western parishes and central parishes that were predicted to get in on some amount of cloud cover and isolated showers, but even eastern parishes got in on some of the activities still. We've been getting it in the morning, especially across the north coast, and that was what was taking place. I definitely got some rainfall in my portion of St. Thomas as well. If we take a look at the visible satellite images of Jamaica before we lost the sunlight, we can definitely make it out even better. A very HD picture right here showing all of the clouds coming in from the east, bring overcast skies if not rainfall to sections of St. Thomas, Portland, St. Anne, Trelawney, sections of St. Catherine, Clarendon, Manchester, St. Elizabeth and Westmoreland. Definitely gotten on some of the action too before I was said and done with the day in terms of the sunlight, and we can still see some cloud cover across the island. Even as we speak, we're going to be looking at the latest infrared satellite image shortly, but let us take a look at what was happening here on See Jamaica's YouTube channel, showing the panoramic city view at around 1:37 p.m. looking towards, I think it looks like New Kingston if I'm not mistaken. Is this the Sagicore building? Either way, we can see that we have some partly cloudy skies here and there looking towards the Kingston Wharf over here. Definitely a mixture of sunshine way out here, as well as some cloud cover over here. And I'd like for you to keep in mind that if you'd like to find out I'd like for you to keep in mind that if you'd like to see more live streams like this, you can visit See Jamaica on YouTube. They have these live streams for your viewing pleasure, and they're planning on increasing the amount of cameras that they have in and around the island. So subscribe today so that you don't miss out. Taking a look at the accumulated precipitation for the past 24 hours from the Caribbean Institute for Meteorology and Hydrology website. This map does indeed paint a picture of where we had the rainfall today. Definitely across northern and eastern parishes during the morning, then spilling into sections of some central and western parishes during the afternoon. It might not have been so widespread or heavy as what this map is showing, but it does paint quite a picture that we definitely had some cloud cover, if not some isolated showers across sections of most parishes today for sure. And we definitely have some confirmation from some of our followers here on our YouTube page and on other social media platforms. First, we have Sharon Johnson 2041 stating Santa Cruz heavily overcast but no rain, just a few drops. We have Missy B 3416 stating Claremont is rainy. On our Instagram page, we have Swebe Sandrine stating rainy. We have on our Facebook page, however, Latoya Anderson stating sunny morning. Verona Burke, partly cloudy and windy in Ocho Rios. Latoya Taylor, sun hot in Sainte. Kyle Sim, sunny. And as we can see, most of these were posted in the morning. And we have one comment here from our follower Brielle Patton on our Twitter page. Just a drizzle in that individual's era. And if we take a look at the very latest still image from the Weather Nerds website about what's happening across Jamaica right now, we can indeed make out that we still have some leftover clouds as represented by those milky white shades across sections of the island. We also see some right here to the east of Portland. Let us see if we can match any of that to what we're seeing on the latest Cuban Doppler radar. Is it going to show us the latest? Apparently not, because it's showing, I believe, from January 29 spilling into 1:10 p.m. on January 30. Definitely glitched out. so it's not really up to date at all, but we can definitely make out where on January 30 we're getting in some rainfall to the waters to the southwest of Jamaica during the early afternoon. But let us see what's happening on the Guantanamo Bay Cuban Naval Radar imagery. Alright, here we go. We can definitely make out some rainfall across sections of Portland, eastern St. Thomas. You can also make out some lingering rainfall to the east of Portland, maybe signaling what we just saw on the infrared. Maybe it's this right here that we're seeing on the Guantanamo Bay radar, extending eastward into portion of the western peninsula of Haiti. Very interesting. Maybe some of that might push westward and affect portions of northeastern Jamaica tonight, but we're not seeing much of anything happening right now on the Cayman radar. Southern Cuba in the clear, western Jamaica in the clear, the Cayman Islands and the waters around the islands are in the clear. But if we take a look at what's happening right now from See Jamaica's YouTube channel, we can see that there's not much of anything. Halfway trees dry. We can see people walking about, going about their business, people in their vehicles going about their business as well. Not much in the way of wet weather at all for this evening. Taking a look at the temperatures right now, we can see that we have 25 degrees Celsius in Montego Bay, 26 degrees Celsius in Kingston, or it should be getting there. But we know for a fact that by around 4 a.m. on Friday, temperature should dip down to about 24 degrees Celsius in both Montego Bay and Kingston. Taking a look at the temperature forecast for tomorrow, this map from the GFS is valid for 18 on Friday, which is actually 1 p.m. on Friday. And you can see Jamaica right here embedded in some orange colors. And we can see from the key on the red that represents up to 2 degrees Celsius above normal temperature still. Definitely hot these days for sure, and it's just January, goodness. We know the average temperature for the month of January. This is going to be the last time I say this, because tomorrow's video we're going to be switching gears and going to February. So apparently February is the coolest month of the year. Boy, we hope it lives up to it. But clearly we usually get up to 86.5 degrees Fahrenheit for our temperature across Jamaica during the month of January. When that's calculated to degrees Celsius, that's around 30.2 degrees Celsius. So we should be receiving anywhere from 30.2 degrees Celsius all the way up to 32.2 degrees Celsius at most for Jamaica's temperature on Friday. And we need to highlight the fact that we have some maintenance outage advisories up from my JPS Online's Twitter page. And we definitely have to highlight these, because we know that when we have power outages, it can definitely make the heat feel even worse, because we don't have our fan or our AC to cool us down. So if you live or work in these areas, or if you have friends or relatives who live or work in these areas, let them know that a power outage is coming their way. We're referring to Lancewood, Meadows, as well as Bonham Springs. All of these, by the way, for Friday, January 31, 2025. But this one specifically is for these environs in the parish of St. Anne from 10 a.m. to 2:30 p.m. We're also referring to a section of Kemps Hill in Clarendon from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. Cottage to Little London in Westmoreland from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Gantry Road as well as Flower Hill Avenue in St. James, both from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. And finally, we have a section of Dewsbury Avenue, Barbican Road and Edgecombe Avenue as well as Miracle Close in St. Andrew from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. Either way, we have some tips right here to beat the heat as usual. It states here, when outside, seek shade. Eat fresh. Try eating cold foods such as salads and fruits. Rest and make sure you get enough sleep and rest if you're feeling tired. Soak, take a cool shower or bath to help you cool down. And I cannot stress enough the importance of staying hydrated. Drink lots of water throughout the day. Put away the sugar drinks. Drink water instead. Taking a look at the dry air map, we know that the dry air is represented by what we see here on the key on the bottom. That's the yellows, the oranges, the reds, and the whites within those reds. And we can see an abundance of dry air stretching all across the entire Atlantic basin from Africa into the Gulf of Mexico. And clearly the most in the way of dry air is right here off the coast of Africa, with all of those bright reds into whites. Definitely dry for sure. We know the dry air can definitely make the atmosphere stable, making it harder for it to rain. But let's see if we actually get some rainfall tomorrow. We see some yellows here that signal moist air. Let's see if we actually get some rainfall tomorrow. It seems like it's going to be very wet tomorrow across Jamaica. Either way, we're indeed glad that we're not seeing much in the way of Saharan dust. This is the Saharan dust for 2 p.m. on Friday, and we can clearly see the browns right here that represent Saharan dust that should be plaguing portions of northeastern South America, as well as sections of the main development region. And we're indeed grateful that it's not that vigorous of a plume. You know, the vigorous plume of dust is represented by the dark shades of browns, and we know that represents the Saharan dust that could cause hazy skies, not to mention trigger some amount of respiratory illnesses in some persons. So we're indeed grateful that majority of the Western Hemisphere, talking about North America, the Bahamas, the Caribbean, as well as Central America, we're not really getting in on much in the way of Saharan dust for 2 p.m. on Friday. Either way, in terms of the wave forecast, we still see that we have an abundance of high waves, as represented by all of these purples into pinks into burgundies, for a majority of the southern Caribbean to the south of Jamaica, extending into the southern Bahamas and the eastern Caribbean. And we know all of that represents anywhere from 2 to 3 meter wave heights, definitely less than that expected across the northwestern Caribbean as well as the Gulf of Mexico, where we're seeing the dark blues into light blues represents anywhere from 0.5 meter wave height all the way up to 1.5 meter wave heights. On Jamaica's north coast tomorrow, all the way up to 1.6 meter wave heights, south coast 2 meter wave heights for sure, maybe even more than that, 2.5 in some spots. And that's because of the winds that are going to be expected. We see, especially across the waters of the Caribbean, the southern Bahamas, some bright greens into yellows. They represent anywhere from 20 to 25 knots, definitely going all the way up to maybe 30 knots right here to the north of Panama and Colombia. And we see the general flow across the Caribbean coming in from the east-northeast, curving westward right here in general. But if we take a closer look at Jamaica regarding the winds that are expected, we see the flow more of an easterly flow for sure across the island, pushing in like this. Definitely 20 to 30, well, 20 to 25 knot winds expected. Look at this, 19 knots all the way up to definitely up around 19-20 knots for sure on the south coast. Definitely going to be a bit less on the north coast. We're not seeing that much in the way of yellows. 15 knots, definitely going to be windy for sure. And we also see that the air is going to be less across inland areas of some central parishes as well as western parishes. So who knows, maybe all of that air might pile up, bringing us some daytime heating, isolated afternoon rainfall. We'll see exactly what unfolds. I'll definitely be here to keep you posted tomorrow. And we see that the upper level winds are still coming in from the west-southwest. So that's going to be interesting to see how that unfolds, if we actually get any cumulonimbus clouds pushing any cloud tops off. Either way, this map from the Euro and this map from the GFS are almost identical in terms of what's expected at 6 a.m. on Friday. We see the blues that represent rainfall across northern parishes, so anywhere from St. James eastward, Trelawney, St. Ann, St. Mary, Portland, extending into portions of St. Thomas, and we also see some of that extending to the south of Jamaica too, south of Trelawney, St. Catherine, Kingston, and St. Andrew. Very interesting. Skipping ahead now to about 10 a.m. The Euro still showing some blues that represent rainfall across eastern Jamaica, GFS showing something similar, but the Euro is trying to incorporate sections of central Jamaica as well as the waters to the north and south of the island. We also see the north and the south of the island rainfall across, well, on the GFS. We'll see how that actually plays out. Very interesting. Looks like it's going to be a wet morning tomorrow, especially across the eastern end of the island. Then by afternoon now, both maps here from the Euro and the GFS are adamant that we're still going to be getting rainfall on the east, but some of this rainfall could definitely affect sections of some northern and western parishes for sure. We're seeing that. Notice how dry and white the far southern edges of the island are. So most of the activity seems to be across northern and western parishes during the afternoon. Either way, in terms of the accumulated precipitation forecast maps, both maps here from the Euro and the GFS are showing all the rainfall that's expected from now up until 3Z on Saturday, February 1. When calculated, 3Z is actually 7 p.m. on, not 7 p.m., 10 p.m. on Friday. So both of these maps are showing all the rainfall expected from now up until 10 p.m. on Friday. I'm not saying that it's going to be raining from now all the way up until then, but clearly these are the areas that are going to be picking up the most in the way of rainfall, and we're seeing that most of it should be across the northeast. St. Mary, Portland, especially Portland, we're seeing on the year up to 0.53 of an inch of rainfall. The GFS going all the way up to 0.6 of an inch of rainfall. We'll see exactly what unfolds. Whatever happens, I'll keep you posted. And we are indeed grateful that it's going to be raining somewhere across Jamaica. We're in the month of January. We know how dry January can be. We're in the dry season. And in January, across Jamaica, well, in Kingston, we usually receive up to 20 millimeters of rainfall. In Montego Bay, we usually receive up to 3 inches of rainfall. And if you'd like to find out what your specific parish usually receives for the month of January, you can visit weatherandclimate.com, and that website will show you that information. And you can use this nice graphic right here that converts rainfall from inches to millimeters. You know that 1 inch of rainfall is about the same as 25 millimeters of rainfall. Alright, so that's it for the forecast across Jamaica. Let us focus our attention on the rest of the Caribbean. So as stated, we have some clouds associated with leftovers from a trough, bringing some isolated showers to sections of Turks and Caicos, southern Bahamas, eastern Cuba, sections of Hispaniola. We also see some moisture passing to the north of the ABC Islands, some moisture crashing into portion of Nicaragua, Honduras, as well as the Yucatan Peninsula right there. We can also see the usual afternoon thunderstorm activity across portion of northern South America. And if we take a look at the Doppler radar images of the northeastern Caribbean, let's see what's happening down there as we speak. Actually, I'm not seeing much of anything, but we do see some isolated showers across eastern Puerto Rico. If we load these images from earlier today, we can see we're from about 1:10 p.m. We're getting on some isolated showers in and around St. Kitts and Nevis, Antigua and Barbuda, maybe sections of central and southwestern Puerto Rico. We can also see on the Barbados radar not much of anything right now. Very interesting, because for the past week we've been getting in on some activity in and around Barbados. So I guess it's time for them to get a break. Right here on the weather wave Doppler radar images, we can see some rainfall across the Yucatan, right here to the north of Belize, some rainfall across northern Venezuela, as stated, passing to the north of the ABC Islands as well. And if we take a look at where the rainfall is expected within the next 24 hours, this map here from the Euro and this map here from the GFS are both showing all the rainfall that's expected from now up until 10 p.m. on Friday. And we can clearly see that the most rainfall is represented by the yellows, oranges, reds, especially the reds. And that's going to be plaguing portions of eastern Honduras, Nicaragua, Costa Rica, Panama, Colombia, sections of western and southern Venezuela, sections of Guyana, section of Suriname and French Guiana too, getting on some isolated shower activity. We can also see some isolated shower activity across Trinidad and Tobago, maybe section of Martinique, Dominica, Guadeloupe getting on some of the action too, as well as the US and British Virgin Islands, Puerto Rico, the Dominican Republic, eastern Cuba, and portions of eastern or northeastern Jamaica. And we clearly see that both the Euro and the GFS modes are in consensus with this forecast. I know that when they're in consensus like this, the chances of it actually happening are much higher. Alright, so that's it for today. Thanks for watching.